All right, so yesterday I had the pleasure and the enjoyment of getting to play a nice chunk of game from Splinter Cell Blacklist. It wasn't the very beginning of the game. It seems like the second and third level, although I believe the second level was somewhat truncated and you started halfway through it. Regardless, it definitely demonstrated a game that was quite distinct from the one that they showed at E3 that got everyone so hot and bothered because it really did look like an action game. What they're clearly doing with Splinter Cell is they're trying to make it a lot more open to varying play styles. They see three different ones. One is called Ghost. That's where you don't kill anybody and no one ever knows you were there in the first place. The other one, which I tend to lean towards, is Panther, where no one knows you're there until they're dead. You just clear out that level. And the third one is Assault. That would be the action style that we definitely saw on display at E3 in 2012. From what I can tell, the game definitely does feel like it can accommodate those three styles, although I could tell that one level definitely preferred stealth over the other one that I played. More importantly though, it allows for this variety of play styles because the biggest issue I have with Conviction no longer seems to be in Blacklist, and that is the fact that I found in Conviction that yes, you could be dynamic in theory in how you play the game, but given the corridors and the small spaces that you were in, I pretty much just climbed a pipe, waited up there, and shot somebody in the head. Here, I could already see branching ways that you could traverse the level, and in fact, it's a very good sign. I was already planning how I would do a second playthrough of the level with the things that were made available to me there. I was under the impression that Sam Fisher was actually playing faster than he did in Conviction, but the developers over at Ubisoft feel that he is playing slower. The one difference is the game doesn't stop down when you mark and execute or when you put someone in a chokehold. You can still be in motion, and there is a rather impressive fluidity to the entire affair that may come across to me as something that's moving a lot faster. As I say that, I would like to point out that I always felt that I was in control of the game, but the game is moving very quickly around you, and you definitely have to be on your toes to react to what's happening. Where the game is impressive, and I'm curious to see how it plays out, is how vast the array of options are. You generate income from playing the single player, from playing the co-op, and playing the multiplayer, and with that money, you can unlock a wide array of gadgets and weapons, and with the weapons, you can obviously modify the weapons. How the game is going to be able to deal with all those different facets of the game will only be borne out when it's finally done. But it's very exciting to see that because you really get that sense of investment of what your play is going to benefit you with when you're inside of the game. But that's a lot of things to take into consideration in terms of balancing, and that's something that's never really been part of the Splinter Cell universe. Story-wise, it wasn't as clear where this is going to go. The one thing I feel, and I'm actually looking forward to in Blacklist, is that what's at stake is no longer personal to Sam Fisher as it was in Conviction. This is a large terrorist group that plans on pretty much taking out the United States. And the small video they showed us from the beginning of the game really did set things up as very, very dire. What looks like to be a coincidence, one of the levels you play early on takes place in Benghazi, Libya, which I assume when they started making the game was still an unknown second city in that country, and has unfortunately become a little bit too present in the American mind because of the unfortunate events that happened at the consulate there. It was a moment that felt a little bit too close to reality, but that is kind of the foundation of what a Tom Clancy game is about, and it didn't feel exploitative in any way. If there's only one thing, it's not really a big deal, that kind of lingered, is in the cutscenes where Sam Fisher, who's now running the fourth echelon with his small team, it once again used a little bit too tired trope of the tech guy who somehow in the Pentagon or the CIA or something else is Black Ops, who's wearing a hoodie and is really smartass. It is becoming a little bit fatiguing to have to see this character. It might be necessary to give some levity to what looks like a very, very dark story, but you know, we're in 2013. People who have technical prowess no longer should be such a novelty, an oddity, or alienated. Like I said, not a big deal. It just kind of stood out to me. On the whole, Splinter Cell Blacklist has gone from something that I knew was coming out this year to something that I am looking forward to playing this year. I have not seen co-op, I have not seen the competitive multiplayer, but what they're doing with the single player really feels like the proper evolution. What I would have wanted out of Conviction is finally on its way. So if you're seeing this, you may not have seen two of my interviews with people on the development team in Toronto for Splinter Cell Blacklist. They're very, very interesting, so go run over there now and check them out. And you can always find out things about new games that are coming out or ones that have been released here at youtube.com/rev3games. Hit subscribe.